What up, y'all? I'm Steve with Elevate, and today we want to talk about how to replace your 4-wire dimmer in your Silver Surfer vaporizer. Now remember, the first thing you're going to do is make sure your unit is unplugged. Remove your glass, and I'm also going to make sure that you can remove that little heater center thing in there, that piece right there. We'll go ahead and remove that, and then we're going to go ahead and remove our screws. Again, you want to make sure that it's unplugged and that it is cool. Well, if your dimmer's not working, it's probably already cool, right? Alright, now we got our base out, our screws out. We'll set those down, we'll set this in the base so we can put it back. If your dimmer was broken off, no big deal, but if it's on here, then what you're going to do is you're going to put your fingers underneath this and you're going to like pry them out. And that's the easiest way to get them out there, and you can just really pry it. Makes it fairly easy to get off. So we have two types of grounding that you'll do on your unit. We have the USA standard, and then we have our new CE certified grounding stuff, and that's where we're going into everything to keep everything straight, but we did that for Europe. And so the next thing you're going to do is remove your dimmer pack, and that you're going to use this piece that we sent you, and you're going to have your own 1/4-inch ratchet there. So kind of hold that in there, press it nice and tight, and then we'll remove that out. Hold on to your nut, and if you lose that, we do send you another new one. So I'm taking this out, and then you're going to take your heater out. And since this is a 4-wire, we'll go ahead and snip this right here because that's going to help us snip that. Now we're a little bit more, and you probably will not have this, and this is the new style that we're doing. And if you don't have it, that's okay. You're going to have a lot of green wire there, and if it's the CE certified, you'll have a ground that goes to this, and it was going back here. So that's a totally cool thing too. And anyways, we're going to go ahead and separate our heater. And the easiest way to do this is I'm going to set it up like this. Have this not pull down on me. And you can try to pry these apart with your fingers, and that's okay too. But here I'm just going to go ahead and grab it back there. And we're just going to wiggle these apart. And using some leverage right there as a fulcrum, you're going to pull that out, and boom. Then you can go ahead and grab it again. Grab the other one. Again, using your fingers kind of as a fulcrum, and it'll pop out. So there we have the heater out. We'll go ahead and set that aside as well. And then the next step is we're going to go ahead and pull these out. And same thing, it's kind of difficult, so we'll go ahead and pop those out again using our same fulcrum method. Okay, and then so this last one, we're going to be actually tied into it. And then we'll go ahead and we'll cut this grounding wire, and I like to cut it up as close as possible to leave us the most amount of wire that we can. So I'll cut that right there. And this tool right here, you can get this from auto shop, and you can trade your ID and all that stuff and get that. So again, for these two, I want as much wire as possible, so I'm actually going to cut up in the plastic here. We can see that. And so that's removed. And so wow, there's a lot of wires here, but not really. So we have our ground wire, And then we have our line, and that's the power coming in, and our load, and this is what's going out to the heater and the light. So the first thing we're going to do is, we know we have this one and this one, so those are both going to get females, or males I should say, I'm sorry about that. They're both going to get males. And we're going to go ahead and put this in first, and this is going here. And we're just going to go ahead and twist these up, slide that in, and make sure you don't have any wires sticking out. Press down with 2 hands. Go ahead and do the next one. Now we have those two connected, so those will go to our intakes, and you can either connect those or not. And then the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and do the ground wire, because I want to do that next. I'm going to go ahead and remove about 1/4 inch. So if you have a CE certified housing, you're going to have a 3rd hole back here, and that's where your ground's going to go in, and you're going to use this connector right here. For this one, we're going to use this, and this goes around our dimmer. So again, we'll go ahead and put this in our crimper first, get it ready to go. Then we'll go ahead and put these together, and I like to hold them about 1/2 inch back. That way your connector can always go down and around, which this one isn't such a big deal. We'll make sure that's nice and tight. Give it a little tug. Same with these, give them a tug, a tug. Okay, so that's good there. And then the next one is, we are going to have females again, because we're going to be plugging our heater into this. So, not again, because before we had males, and those are going to there, and that helps keep it kind of separated. And then, so the next step is to go ahead and twist that one up, and then we'll remove a little bit of wire here. Again, about 1/4 inch. We'll go ahead and grab this female, get it ready to go. And again, holding it back about 1/2 inch, because this does have the insulator. And I like to match my wires so they're both at the top. We'll slide this on. There's that, give it a tug. Everything's nice. And we'll grab our last one here. Get that pre-ready. Make sure you're always lined up on the metal. Then we have our last one here. Then line those up at the top. The small wire had slightly less wire sticking out, so it's a little taller than the other, but they're both at the top, going in just as far. And you could see that kind of push that down, and that's alright. We're going to go ahead and take it back up there and twist it. Stick this down. Squish. And you are completed there with the swap of those. Then we'll go ahead and tie these in. And again, the line is right here where your green wire is coming out. So it doesn't matter, white to white, black to black. Push those in nice and far. You can wiggle, and that helps get them in there. And then with your heater, you're going to go ahead and Plug that in. Plug that in. Then we're gonna put in our dimmer. And your dimmer wires are gonna be on the top. Like to kind of twist those around, get it in there nice. And this does have the dimmer nut on it, so we're gonna take that off. And then we're gonna go ahead and sneak this. This is gonna go around it, so I think this is the nicest way to get this heater in the front there. And then this has a little edge, it's going to kick out one way. And so we're going to have that kick out away from the unit towards the dimmer. And then we'll place that in there, put it in there, and you can kind of wiggle it, and you're going to really have to push kind of hard back here. Not super hard, but hard enough to get the threads to come out. And then you're going to lay that in, and you can use a tie wrap to kind of spin that and start it. And just make sure you're not going to cross thread it. Once it gets started, go ahead and tighten this up. Now, be careful not to over tighten this. You only need to get this snug. So that feels not bad, but I'm going to go just a little bit more. And you can see when you wiggle it, it will kind of, that feels pretty tight. And you can see I can still move it, but this is feels pretty good. All right, so we're good to go right there. Now we want to make sure that these wires are out of the way, and we're going to get our heater down into there, and your heater needs to go down pretty far. So we'll get that down in there, and making sure you go through your tie wrap. Okay, we'll grab that. That makes it easier to grab it and kind of pull this. Then once you get it through, you're going to want to straighten up your wires a little bit. Get that to come down. And remember, you want to have that line pretty much coming up to the bottom inside of there. And then that feels pretty good right there. So we're going to take this out. Oh, that's way back there. So I might have to recombobulate once I get that. So we'll go ahead and tighten this up. Make sure I have enough heater out there. Tighten that down. And you don't need to tighten it down so crazy tight, but tighten it down nice and snug. And then you can cut that out. Leave a little long or closed, but be careful not to cut any wires. Alright, bada bing, bada bang. So the next step is you're going to go ahead and tuck these wires in, make them nice and pretty. So those are nice and down, and then you're going to reverse and put your screws back together. I like to get this out and then just kind of look at it, get it in there, and then use my fingers to just start it. And you could, this way you don't cross thread it. You definitely got to be careful here. Do not cross thread it. This is drilled aluminum, and you're going to have to push down here. If there's any wire sticking up, this just barely fits, nice. Just barely. And then I got light shooting on me, so it's hard to see. But I think I'm in that hole. And there, it started nice. Once it started, then you can go ahead and keep it going in there. And again, do not cross thread it, because if you strip that, we can re-drill holes in it, but it is a pain and you'll have to send it back. But there's that. And again, don't over tighten these, just nice and snug. So there's that. Go ahead, get your heater back into there, put this piece back on it, put your glass back on it, and make sure that your heater is, again, maybe an 1/8 inch to a 1/16 inch below the top of your heater cover. Should be rocking and rolling. Thanks a lot for your support. Elevate mind, body, spirit.